Yeah, g'day YouTubers, Tinker O'Toole with another video. Today we're going to test out the Stihl MS500i versus the Stihl MS661. The difference is the MS661 is 7.3 horsepower and the 500i is 6.8. So it's a half a horsepower difference. One's fuel injected, one's not. But generally speaking, the one that's got the higher CCs has got the more horsepower, so that's the one that's going to win. But nonetheless, we're going to actually give it a huge workout. I've got a 20-inch bar on it. We'll swap the bar and chain onto the 661. We're going to attack a fairly large log. It's over 3 feet diameter, and we're going to put on the 30-inch bar, Samura bar. So we're going to really give it a good workout. And the best part about it, Dennis O'Toole, he's got many years of practice on this property, huge property, cattle, sheep, you name it, he's got everything here, and we're going to test these saws out. And the best part about it, it's not going to be a biased opinion. We're going to give you a really good opinion on how good the saw works. So briefly, we'll just talk to Dennis, and he was using this brand new saw. He only got it this week. 500i is brand new, never been used. So both these saws have never really been in anything really big. So because we're going to put it in something really big, it's going to be a huge workout for the saw. So far, Dennis, you've been using the 661. What did you think yesterday when you were using it?
Well, originally I had an 038 Magnum. Still got that saw.
Talk up louder.
So something of comparatively, cutting something that was over 300mm diameter was like cutting something that was 100mm diameter on an 038. So it's the speed and torque that the saw develops. My prediction is, yeah, it's true. There's no substitute for cubes, as they say. However, with fuel injection, you've got a more atomized fuel spray, so I think that'll develop more torque down low, torque per RPM that is. So it'll be interesting to see, but that's my prediction before we've started it. We'll see how we go and go from there. It is a heavier saw, so compared to the 038, you're talking 7.6 kilo or thereabouts.
Just pick up the 500i and tell me what you just feel the difference.
Yeah, it's a lighter saw compared to this one. Oh, actually, there was not much in it. Yeah, it is a bit lighter, although I've got the longer bar
on it, yeah.
And always remember the weights that they quote are dry weight, so that doesn't include bar oil or fuel. So when you get to a bigger saw, so 661's circa 800ml of fuel, and when you get to say an MS500i, it's 1.3 litres. So just bear that in mind when you're looking at that, and obviously the bar and the chain adds a bit of extra weight as well.
The other thing that I noticed when I use the 500i is the acceleration is just unbelievable. It's just, yeah, it really blew my mind how quick it just accelerates. But what's going to be interesting, the reason I've got a 20-inch bar on it is because I don't think you're going to notice any difference between the saws with a 20-inch bar. So we're going to put the 20-inch bar on both saws, and I don't think you'll feel anything in it. By the time we get to the 25-inch bar, hopefully you should notice a difference between the saw and when we put the 30-inch bar on it. And we've got 3 different chains. We've got hexa, full chisel, semi-chisel. So we can have a bit of a combination and give you an honest opinion of which saw works good. But look, generally speaking, the 661 is going to blow the 500 away. By how much? It depends on the bar and the chain and the experience of the operator, which one gets bogged down more. So what we'll do now is take it over to a tree and give it a bit of a warm-up and see what happens. Okay. Yeah, so what did you think about that?
Yeah, good.
Heard it stall a little bit. But anyway, what we'll do, that seemed to go all right, but it seemed to hesitate a little bit.
Yep.
But it's pretty old timber. It's been sitting here for about 20, 30 years, who knows how long. So what we'll do, we'll put that bar on the 661 and just see, you'll be able to see what the feedback is on that.
Rightio. So you just saw the 500i make the cut here. You'll see in the video there was a couple of points where the saw hesitated. So it'll be interesting. I'm going to cut about 100 mil on the other side of this cut. Try and cut it to the same type of style, and we'll see how it performs.
So I don't know if any difference. That one says Magnum. I thought, I think all 661s are called Magnum anyway, yeah?
Yeah, pretty sure. So just so everyone can see, it's the exact same bar, the exact same chain, so that we're doing the exact same, minimising the variables. So we're doing a pretty much a saw by saw comparison.
And then what we're going to do after that is going to be interesting. We'd like to saw right through this, and we'll put the 30-inch bar on it. And this is where probably the 500i will really be struggling compared to the 661. So, but that's what we expect.
And you can see I'm 5'10", so this is coming up sort of the midpoint of my belly button. It's a pretty big tree, so we're not cutting something that's small.
Okay, let's go for it. I heard a little bit of hesitation, but not a lot. What did you think?
I can feel a bit more torque. As I said in the first video, not much down low, but in the higher RPM you can feel it's definitely a bit more torqueier for sure.
But both, nonetheless, they're very powerful saws.
Yeah, look, there's not a lot in it. This has obviously slightly got the edge, but like we said earlier, it's the...
But that's what you'd expect anyway, isn't it? You'd expect that, if you go out and buy a Stihl and the next saw's 5 cc's, this saw here is 61.9 or something. No, sorry, 91.2 or something like that.
The other point to mention, although this saw probably cut a bit easier, the 500i, it's definitely a lot torqueier, it's a lot more responsive down low, and I guess the analogy I use is like a fuel injected car versus a carburetor. It's the exact same thing, it's an engine, but this, once you're on wide open throttle, you can definitely feel the extra.
You notice the other thing, I noticed on the side plate cover, is they've sort of cut this down, this cutaway here. They've made that for the discharge of the chips.
Yep.
All right, so what we'll do, we'll put the, we'll load up the 500i with the 30-inch bar. Maximum bars that Stihl recommend for both of these saws are 36 inches. Look, I think the 500i would struggle a little bit in Australian hardwood. So we're talking Australian hardwood. This tree has been laying on the ground by the looks of it for 20, 30 years. It's hard as a rock, and it is extremely hard eucalypt timber. It's very difficult to cut. So if you had a small saw, you'll be struggling cutting this wood. So we'll put the 500i on next, and we'll see how that performs. So I've got the 500i on, and we've put the 30-inch Samura bar on with a full skip chain. Now the full skip chain's got 17 teeth one side, 16 the other. So it's equivalent to just less than a 20-inch bar. But what we're going to do is cut right through this tree. So we're going to cut underneath, and then we'll go around the other side, because I think this is slightly wider than the bar. So fire up, Dennis, and we'll see how it performs. Then what we're going to do is put on a full chisel, see how that performs. going to do is go around the other side, because this is actually wider than 30 inches.
There's water coming out of the tree.
Is there water? Thing's been sitting here forever. Yeah, well, so what did you think of that? That's with a skip chain.
Probably felt like the 20-inch bar.
Yeah, that's what it should feel like. But it gets through it, doesn't it?
Got through it okay.
So what would be great to do now is if I wonder if we can cut this big piece off here.
Yeah.
That one that you started.
Yeah.
That should be able to drop down, and we should be able to get the saw in and face off a little bit, take a couple of slabs. Because we can't move anything until we take a chunk out.
Look at this. You can't move it.
Nah. Or do you think we're better off just slicing that in half, letting that drop so we can get a clear access?
I reckon just take it from the end.
All right.
Safer.
All right, take it from the end.
All right. So just do a cut.
Just do a cut. Can't get jammed up.
It's going to be the same cut again.
Yeah.
Well, I'll do it the same. Underneath.
Yeah, see how it goes. And then what we'll do, we could do it, then we could, if we can get right on the end, we can actually put the stopwatch on it to see how quick it takes to cut right through. Once we get there, then we can put the 661 on, and that'll be interesting. So, yeah, all right. Finally, finally cut this tree up. The problem you got there, you know, when this is a 30-inch bar, but this is wider than 30-inch. but we got a hollow in the middle, so should be able to get a clean cut. Okay. Yeah, you know, it's interesting, just because you've got a big saw doesn't mean that there's more obstacles to overcome, isn't there? Things could get jammed up, anything can happen.
Very interesting, and I mean, don't know if the camera picks it up, but you can see in here there's a termite nest in there. So you might have heard a couple of times when I was tilting the saw, I was off and on and regulating the rev. So you, obviously when you pull the heel of the saw out, you don't want to over rev the saw. But what also makes it more difficult is when you've got a hollow cavity there. And look at this, I mean, it's just all sorts of...
Yeah, that's going to blunt the bloody chain.
So there's all different challenges to contend with, and this certainly makes it a little bit more challenging. It's just something to be aware of, that's all. You don't want to over rev your saw any more than you have to.
I heard it stall a few times, like got bogged down a little bit. Was that just because it sort of got a bit tight and the bar just sort of...
It's just, look, the wood might have been a bit more dense in that spot. Believe it or not, you do get some softer spots in the wood. But no, look, overall, I think something of this size and this bar, you're kind of at the limits. You wouldn't want to be going much bigger than that.
That's what
I mean, I was at full RPM. This saw's only been used what you've seen in the video, so this will be third cut. So we are running the saw in. This will now sit here. We'll go over to some lighter stuff. So this video is not just about the timber, but we're just doing a side-by-side comparison of two brand new saws, just to see what they're like, and it's an unbiased opinion. We're not going to tell you who owns which saw, it doesn't matter. But yeah, look, value for money, you can't go wrong. And the acceleration on the saw, the pickup, well, you'd hear it in the video. You can hear it accelerates extremely quick.
I think also a lot of people, when they get a brand new saw, they flog the guts out of it and don't break it in properly. It's good to get a couple of heat cycles like that. So you work the saw, you stop, you let it rest. So what we're going to do is let this saw rest, put the bar and chain on the 661, and I would expect the 661 to cut better than the 500i. It should without question. So we'll try that, we'll see how it goes.
Yep.
Okay, so we've got the 661. We've swapped the bar and chain over. So Dennis is going to... now we're still on the skip chain, so what we do after this, we'll put the standard chain on the standard chain and we'll compare the difference. So this is really hard wood, it's hard as a rock. Now go on Dennis, fire up and see how it goes. And I guess you'll be able to listen to the... if it bogs down a little bit, and you'll be able to compare the difference of the 500i. Well, from what I heard, that went through it a lot easier.
Yep.
Yeah?
The only time it bogged down was just when I was doing position changing. Wasn't a saw, it was getting caught on the bark here. So definitely more torque, but that other saw, like we said in the first video, we hadn't used the saw, definitely revs up a hell of a lot quicker, but you could hear the torque. That saw wasn't working as hard.
Now that's a skip tooth, right?
Correct.
So that's equivalent to a 20-inch bar. So what we're going to do next is that we're going to put a standard full chisel on that. So it's going to have 25 teeth per side rather than 17 teeth per side. So it's going to be interesting to see how or whether it bogs down a little bit. I suspect it will a little bit, but how much, well, we'll find that out. Yeah, just a bit of mud, we don't want that. Okay, so what we've done is put the full chisel chain on the skip chain. The skip chain worked all right. What do you reckon? What, to bite you? What do you reckon? The skip chain worked all right, didn't it?
Yeah, it worked really well.
But this is going to be a good test, so... You know, the thing is, if you're going to be cutting timber like this, you want a 661. And if you're going to be cutting timber bigger, much bigger than this, you probably want an 881. So what we'll do, we'll run this brand new chain, checked, it's sharp as. So let's see how it goes. Maybe cut the other bit. Okay, now conclusion time. There's no point putting the 500i on again. So, okay, I heard it bogged down a couple of times. Was that a bog down or just...
No, it grabbed. It's quite interesting because you've got more cutters, so technically you've got more tension, there's more resistance and you can feel it. So when it was cutting reasonably good, but you could definitely feel that it was, I guess you could say that chip evacuation, maybe because you haven't got the extra space in there. It didn't cut as good as a skip chain. Definitely didn't.
Oh, you could feel that, could you?
Feel it. You could hear it, you could feel it.
All right,
you could see the speed, how long it took to cut through.
Yeah. So which is irrelevant, really, is it? When you talk about it, you say, oh, this is going to take 50 seconds, and who cares about a few seconds? The thing is getting the job done, isn't it?
Well, the other thing is you're working your power head harder as well, so you're putting more heat into it.
Yeah, more stress.
Getting more load into it, so it's not going to last as long either. So to me, the skip chain's more efficient, and it's better on the saw.
This bigger stuff.
On the yeah.
If it was green, it's going to cut. Yeah, that's right. It's going to be different. Yeah, story.
Different kettle of fish.
So, so what you're telling me that if you're going to cut this up, you're going to go back to the skip chain.
100%.
Yeah, especially taking the load off the saw, which is a good thing.
So these here, I'm not sure how well, or if you have a look here, you get a fair idea of the size and the girth of this tree. So I think I measured this yesterday and the girth was just under 3 meters, or just around 3 meters. Gets up a bit higher up here. Yeah, if you got something that's maybe 500 mil diameter, normal chain, 25-inch bar, no problem. But as soon as you start talking something that's 800-900 mil diameter, it is a different ball game there. So This is my first time doing that. I'm by no means an expert, but I've had two saws side-by-side comparison, and based on what we've experienced today with the Australian timber, dry as this timber's been, as my father said, 20, 30 odd years, that would be definitely my recommendation. In terms of the saws, which is better, they're different. You know, 500i, I'd probably say up to maybe 700-800 mil diameter. It'll do it easy every day. The 661, probably a little bit more suitable for the larger stuff. However, there is a slight weight difference. It might only be 300-400 grams between the two, but when you start doing that, you get fatigued. Obviously, everyone wants a lighter saw. So, really, you know, I think I like the acceleration of the 500i. Definitely ramps up. It's good when you're doing
you could really notice that, could you?
100%.
Yeah.
But this one here, obviously with a carby, once you're on full RPM, doesn't matter about the nice fine atomization. You just get the fuel in, and you know, for anyone that's into motorsports, I don't know of many injected drag cars.
So virtually what you're saying is that if you're going to be cutting something that's about 2 foot in diameter, a 500i is going to work fine, irrespective whether you put a 25-inch bar, 30-inch bar on it, or whether you put a skip chain or a standard chain. But if you're going to be cutting something bigger like this, the 661 is much more suitable, because that bar is that's a 30-inch bar, and that was barely sticking out when you were over there earlier in the video. It was barely sticking out by about an inch.
To give everyone a size of the tree, look at this. I'm 5'10", and this is how big this tree is. So we're not bunging it on. We're not using funky angles to make something appear bigger than it really is. This is a serious tree. Once you get much bigger than this, you definitely need an 880 or 881.
So, all right, for all the people watching out there, let me hear from you. Like, yeah, I've got maybe my opinion's slightly different. I've turned around and said, like, opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one, right? So I've turned around and said, if that was about 2 foot diameter, 500i. If you're never going to cut anything bigger, I'd go for a 500i. If you're going to be cutting stuff bigger like this, then I'd go for the 661. So let's get your opinion.
My opinion is, as I said earlier, if you're cutting anything up to say 800-900 mil diameter, the 661 would be the saw of preference. The 500i, probably around up to that 800 mil would be the upper limit. But I'd say between 500 and 800 mil, that saw's going to eat that every day. And like we've both got an 038. That stuff's probably good for up to between 350 and 450. And when I say it's good for that, I mean the smaller saw can cut it, but it's how easy does it do it. You know?
Well,
so the saw's not working hard.
Well, there's another example. We could get the 038, and we could cut this, but it's going to be a hard job.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. So if you're going to be cutting big stuff, bigger saw, simple as that. Yeah. All right, thanks Dennis. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and if anyone's interested in any comments,
well, I would say anyone out there, you know, share your experience. If you've got a 500i or a 660, 661, 880 or Husqvarna, share your experience, because you know, there's always things out there you can learn. Yeah, please subscribe to the channel and share your comments.
And the other thing to remember, this has been sitting here for 20, 30 years. The density, it's hard as a rock. There's virtually the moisture's, be lucky if it's probably 10% moisture in it. It's dry as a bone. If this was green, it would have been a much easier job, but hey, what's the point of making a video that's something that's easy? Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye for now.